Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Kami akan membentangkan case study. Nama saya Nur Syamira binti Ayub, nombor pendaftaran F2038.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Mimi Farisha Alia binti Zainal Abidin, nombor kad matrik F2007.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Amira Maisara binti Ramlan. Nombor pendaftaran saya ialah F2047.
Hai, nama saya Nurul Syaziana binti Ahmad Timizi. Nombor pendaftaran saya F2048.
Jom kita.
Okay, now I will start with part A, that is OS comparison and app installation methods. Now I will describe one of the three primary mobile operating system, which is Microsoft Windows Phone. For Microsoft officially ended support for Windows 10 Mobile a few years ago, so Windows Phone no longer exists as a mainstream operating system today. However, in 2026, there has been some revival through third-party hardware like the Next Phone. Currently, Windows Phone does not exist as a standalone system anymore. Instead, some enthusiasts are running Windows 11 on ARM device using a Windows Mobile UI shell to recreate the experience. One of the key features of Windows Phone is its live tile interface. This allows users to see real-time updates directly on the home screen, making it glance-able and grid-based. The unique selling point of this system is its integration. In 2026, these devices are often described as PCs in your pocket because they can switch to a full desktop environment when connected to a monitor. I will describe the three primary mobile operating, which is Apple iPhone operating system, iOS. iOS remains is a closed ecosystem, meaning it is exclusive to Apple hardware. As of 2026, iOS 19 to 20 often referred to in later stage circles as iOS 26 based on year indexing, focus heavily on liquid glass design and deep AI integration. Firstly, design. The liquid glass UI introduction a sense of depth with windows and icons that reflect and refract like dynamically. Second, Apple Intelligence. Features include Genmoji, AI-generated emojis, visual intelligence for real-time object identification, and live translation during phone calls. And lastly is security, known for its wallet garden approach, offering high security through strict app store curation and encrypted communication iMessage. Part 1. Android. Android development by Google is an open platform used by various manufacturers, Samsung, Google, Xiaomi, etc. That current Android 16.2026 embeds multitasking and cross-device flow detect. Custom using the material 3 interface design language, allowing user to that UI based on wallpaper color. Multitasking feature like desktop window mode allow user to resize and move app window on table and folders to a laptop. Open natural room. Unlike iOS, Android allow user to install app from the part source and deploy custom the system code function.
Let's look at how these three systems stack up against each other in 4 key areas. Feature. First, user interface. For iOS, simple, smooth and premium liquid glass look. Android, dynamic and busy, built for multitasking on big screens. Windows Phone, unique lifestyles that flip to show instant info. Next, app ecosystem. iOS, high quality apps often look and work better, deep Mac and watch integration. Android have high quantity an app for everything available from many sources. And Windows Phone, weakness, fewer apps, often relies on web version of services.
Continuing with our comparison of mobile operating system, today I will explain how iOS, Android and Windows Phone differentiate when it comes to security. Let's start with iOS. As written here, we can describe iOS security like a gate community. A gate community has control entrance, security checks and strict rules. You can't just enter or bring anything inside without permission. iOS works exactly this way. It is very safe because Apple controls the whole system tightly. Before any app is allowed to be downloaded or used, Apple checks every single app carefully to make sure it is safe, reliable, and does not contain anything harmful. Apple keeps the gate lock tight, meaning you can mostly only get apps from the official App Store, and nothing unsafe can easily get into your device. Because of this strict control and checking process, iOS is known to have very high security and low risk for security problems. Now let's move to Android. We compare Android security to a city. It is open, free, and you can go anywhere you want. You have lots of choice and freedom, but because it is open, you also need to be careful where you go and what you do. Android is generally safe and has its own built-in security features, but it works differently from iOS. It gives users more freedom. For example, you are allowed to install apps from many different places, not just one official store. You can download apps from websites, other app stores, and external files. This freedom is a big advantage, but it also means there is more responsibility on you. Because there isn't the same strict central checking as iOS, some apps or files you get might not be safe. So even though Android is secure overall, you have to be careful about which apps you install, which links you click, and where you get your files from to keep your phone protected. Finally, let's talk about Windows Phone. Its security model is compared to a vault. A vault is built to keep things safe by separating and protecting each item. If something goes wrong in one section, it won't affect or damage everything else inside. Windows Phone used as a special method called the sandbox method. Think of every app you use as being placed inside its own separate, closed little box or sandbox. Each app only works inside its own box and cannot access or interface with other apps, your personal data, or important parts of your phone system. Because every app stays isolated in its own space, even if one app somehow has a problem or is unsafe, it cannot spread the issue or infect the rest of your phone. This separation makes Windows Phone security very strong in its own unique way.
When we talk about getting software onto our device, we usually think about clicking a download button, but in technical terms, there are actually two primary ways this happens: the pull method and the push method. Let's break down the difference. First, let's look at the pull method. This is the most common way we interact with a technology. In this scenario, the user initiates the action. Think of it like going to a physical store. You go to an app store or a website, search for exactly what you want, and you pull that data down from the server to your specific device. You are the one in control of when and what gets installed. Next, we have the push method. This works a bit differently because the server or another device initiates the action. Instead of you searching for a file, the content is pushed to your device automatically. This is usually triggered by a remote command, a preset subscription, or a specific system update. The big advantage here is that it happens in the background without you having to manually click download at the exact moment. To put it simply, pull is user driven. You go get it. Push is server driven. It comes to you. Understanding these two methods help us better manage how software and updates are deployed across different systems.
Question 3. Explain application installation methods. I will provide example of how apps or content are installed using both methods on each OS. First, iOS, Apple iOS. Pull you open the App Store, search for Instagram and tap the download icon. You are manually fetching the app. Then push if you have automatic downloads. Turn on and you download an app on your iPad. That same app is pushed to your iPhone automatically. Another example is using a web browser on a Mac to install an app to your linked iPhone. That's all.
3B2 Android. Pull you open the Google Play Store, press a category and click install on a game. Push you visit the Google Play Store website on a desktop computer. You find an off app and select install on my Samsung Galaxy. The Google server send a command to your phone to start to download immediately, even if your phone is sitting across the room.
Now I will explain the installation method for Windows Phone, including the two main ways, that is pull and push. First method is pull. As shown here, you do this by opening the Microsoft Store, which is the official app store for Windows Phone. Alternatively, you can also use special or exclusive stores if you want apps that are not available in the official store. From there, you manually select the file you want to install. This file usually ends with name like .apps or .ppwa. Once you choose the file, you start the installation process yourself. So to keep it simple, pull means you go and get the app yourself and install it manually. Second method is push. So this works very differently from pull, and it is mostly used in companies or workplace. Instead of you getting the app yourself, someone else, usually an IT administrator or the company, sends or push the app directly to your phone. This is done using special technology called Mobile Device Management or MDM software. From one central server, the administrator can send and install mandatory work apps, for example apps like Microsoft Teams, onto every employee's phone all at the same time. You don't have to do anything yourself. The app is installed automatically from the system. So in short, push means the system or company sends the app to your device directly, and it is installed without you having to do the work.
Let's start with the basic to navigate your phone. You'll use three main gestures. First, swipe to move between screens, pinch to zoom on view layouts, and long press to open hidden menus. Next, your home screen is your hub. At the top, you have the search bar for the quick squares. Below that are your icons, the shortcuts to all your favorite apps. Then, opening an app is as simple as that. To close it and return home, just swipe up from the bottom of the screen. You can also swipe up and hold to see all your recently used apps. Next, want to make it your own? Long press an app to place it on your home screen. You can also add widgets like this Meta AI bar to get into a glance without even opening an app. Keep things tidy by dragging apps across screens. If you have similar apps, drag on top of another to create a folder. You can even rename the folder, like public transport, to stay organized. Running out of space? Long press any app you no longer need, select Uninstall and confirm, and just like that, your phone is clean, organized, and ready to go.
Part C. iOS hands-on exploration. Okay, first, touch interface interaction. Then I will slowly swipe between your home screen page, pinch, go to your calendars or your settings. Then pinch to zoom in out, long press, hold down an app icon until it shakes or a menu pops up. Second, identify and label home screen items. Status bar, top bar, battery, time, Wi-Fi, dock. The bottom row of apps that stay fixed, widgets. The large clock or weather display, app icon, the shortcut to your programs. Then managing apps and organization. Move apps. Long press an app like Netflix and drag it to the different spot on the screen.
Then move across screens, drag the app to the very edge of the screen to move it to page 2. After that, create a folder, drag one app icon directly on top of another. Rename the folder, example is movie time. Place a widget, Android specific, long press an empty spot on the screen. Click uninstalling an app. Then long press the app and select the uninstall trash can option. Then long press the app, tap remove app, then select delete app. That's all from me. Thank you.
Itu saja daripada kami. Terima kasih dan selamat menonton. Terima kasih. Bye.